My wife and I had been married for over a decade. In all those years, I thought I knew everything about her, her quirks, her habits, her likes and dislikes. But sometimes it's the small things that don't make sense that end up unraveling. The biggest secrets dot it started with something seemingly harmless. My wife had this habit of keeping her tablet inside her nightstand drawer. At first, I didn't think much of it. Everyone has their own little routines, and she was always the type who liked to scroll through books, recipes, or watch videos before bed. But what struck me as odd was how possessive she became about it. The tablet was never just lying around. If she wasn't using it, it was tucked away in that drawer, almost as if it had to be hidden. Over time, I began to notice patterns. She'd wait until she thought I was asleep before slipping the tablet out. The faint glow of the screen would light up the room, and I could hear the soft tapping of her fingers on the screen. Some nights she would stifle a laugh, other nights she seemed unusually tense, her posture stiff as she hunched over the device. And as soon as I stirred or shifted in bed, the tablet would disappear back into the drawer instantly. At first, I convinced myself it was harmless. Maybe she just wanted her own private escape. But the secrecy, the almost frantic way she hid the screen from me whenever I caught a glimpse, planted seeds of doubt in my mind. One night, I decided to stay awake longer than usual. I pretended to be asleep, breathing evenly, while my mind raced with questions. As expected, around midnight, I felt her shift beside me. The drawer creaked softly as she slid it open. The glow of the tablet bathed her face in pale light. I cracked my eyes open just enough to see her expression. It wasn't the calm, relaxed face of someone reading or scrolling through social media. She looked tense, her lips pressed into a thin line, her eyes darting across the screen as if searching for something specific. Every now and then, her expression shifted from nervousness to a faint smile that disappeared almost as quickly as it appeared. The more I watched, the more unsettled I became. What could she possibly be doing that needed such secrecy? Why not just use her phone or browse openly like anyone else? The thought that she might be hiding something from me began to gnaw at me. The following day, I tried to casually bring up the topic. I asked her what she liked reading on her tablet, whether she'd found any new books or shows. She brushed it off quickly, almost too quickly, claiming she was just catching up on emails or browsing online. But her dismissive tone and the way she avoided eye contact told me there was more to it. As the days went on, my curiosity turned into suspicion. I started noticing how protective she was of the tablet. She carried it with her everywhere, and if she left it behind, it was always locked with a password I didn't know. This was strange because we never kept secrets like that before. We shared everything from phone codes to bank account details, so why was this suddenly off limits? One evening, when she went to take a shower, she left the tablet charging on her nightstand. The screen was dark, and I could hear the water running in the bathroom. My heart raced as I reached for it. I hesitated, knowing that whatever I discovered might change everything. But the pull of the unknown was too strong. The screen lit up when I touched it, asking for a password. I tried her birthday. No luck. Our wedding anniversary. No luck. After several failed attempts, the screen locked me out completely. My hands trembled. Why would she need such tight security on something so ordinary? When she came back into the room, she noticed the tablet had been moved slightly. Her eyes flickered with something between fear and anger, but she didn't say a word. Instead, she quietly picked it up and put it away. That silence said more than any argument could have done. My mind spiraled. I imagined all sorts of scenarios. Was she hiding an affair? Talking to someone behind my back? Was there some financial trouble she didn't want me to know about? The possibilities ate away at me until I could barely focus at work, Finally, the breaking point came one night when I woke up to the sound of muffled voices. I turned slightly and realized the sound wasn't coming from her, it was coming from the tablet. She had headphones in, but faint voices escaped through the silence of the night. I couldn't take it anymore. I sat up suddenly, and she flinched, slamming the tablet shut. Her face was pale, and her hands shook as she stuffed it back into the drawer. "What are you hiding from me?" I asked quietly. The words hung heavy in the air. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, with a shaky breath, she whispered that it wasn't what I thought. But her evasiveness only confirmed my fears. Over the next few weeks, the distance between us grew. I felt like a stranger in my own home, living with someone who carried a secret too heavy to share. My trust in her cracked with every glance at that drawer, every late night glow that lit up her face. And then, one night, when I could no longer bear the silence, I confronted her directly. My voice trembled as I told her that I couldn't live like this anymore, that if she had something to say, now was the time. Her eyes filled with tears as she clutched the tablet to her chest. For a moment, I thought she was about to confess to an affair or some betrayal I couldn't forgive. But when she finally spoke, the truth was something I hadn't prepared for. She had been documenting her struggles with depression and anxiety, something she had hidden from me for years. The tablet wasn't full of secret conversations or forbidden affairs. It was her private journal, a place where she poured out her fears, doubts, and darkest thoughts. She was embarrassed, ashamed, and terrified of letting me see that side of her. She had been chatting with online support groups, writing entries, and watching videos to cope in silence. The realization hit me harder than any betrayal could have. While my mind had been racing with suspicion, she had been fighting a battle I didn't even know existed. That night changed everything. Instead of anger, I felt an overwhelming sense of guilt for not noticing, for doubting her, for assuming. The worst about our marriage didn't break that night. In fact, it began to heal. But the memory of those sleepless nights, filled with suspicion and fear, will always remind me how fragile trust can be when secrets live in the shadows.